Hey everyone, I wanted to go ahead and give my quick predictions on what I think they'll go ahead and showcase for the latest Nintendo Direct. This has been something that has been rumored as of recently for the past few weeks now, and thankfully Nintendo finally went ahead and confirmed it that will be taking place relatively soon. One of the things that I always talk about in my predictions videos specifically for Nintendo Directs is the fact that I like to keep them grounded. So I'm going to split this video into 3 separate sections. First, I'm going to talk about the DLC that I think they're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about games that have already been announced, but I expect them to give us new updates on. That would be essentially new trailers. And lastly, in the last section of the video, we're going to talk about all the actual new games we didn't necessarily know about. So first and foremost, when it comes to new DLC, of course, starting out with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We're expecting the final wave of DLC. They have been doing a pretty fantastic job, not only just adding new tracks and really fan favorite tracks at that, but also adding new characters, which is something that we didn't necessarily expect them to do before. Now, they haven't necessarily added car parts just yet, kart parts that is, and I think that's something that they could actually go ahead and do, but they have been doing an amazing job with this. And I think for all the criticisms that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe received, even though it's still the best selling Nintendo Switch game of all time probably at this point, it is one of those things where like the DLC just keeps giving us a reason to keep going back. Soon after that, I do expect them to talk about the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This game just recently received, I believe, the Pokemon connection with the bank. So, you know, they did some additions there, but they've relatively kept it quiet. A lot of people will push back and say that Pokemon Directs usually end up having their own presentations, and they, you know, the Pokemon company does their own thing, but I wouldn't expect them to really go ahead and do that. They would have done that by now, and they didn't really decide to do any of that. So most likely they'll just swerve that right in and reveal some sort of trailer for this game that definitely needs that performance patch. And I honestly don't even think it's going to happen at this point in time, but they did say it was going to happen. We're just going to have to continue to wait until it does. Splatoon 3 has been teasing, specifically the developers in their Japanese social pages and specifically Twitter. They have been teasing new different DLCs for the upcoming seasons and stuff like that. New ways to play, I believe is what they called it. New ways to be able to enjoy the game. It's not like we actually know exactly what they're going to do with that, but Splatoon has been keeping the game fresh with brand new additions just about every 2 to 3 months or so. So we'll just have to wait and see what it is they end up adding. But of course, that is just one of those things that in this Direct, a lot of people would just kind of like gloss over, because if you don't play Splatoon, you don't care. But the thing is, more and more people are playing Splatoon now than ever before. And of course, when it comes to the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to DLC is Tears of the Kingdom. Now, they haven't necessarily confirmed any sort of DLC or a season pass for that matter, but I think there would be a massively missed opportunity for Nintendo to even do that. Now, would people complain about the fact that the game is $70 and then they're adding a season pass on top of that? Well, I'm sure they would, but of course, other games have done that already with the $70 moniker. So it wouldn't too much surprise me, but it's also one of those things that they learned from the original Breath of the Wild and even other subsequent first-party Nintendo games, specifically like Xenoblade, where they would reveal the game, showcase a bunch of trailers, and then even before the game launched, they're already trying to sell you a season pass. I think Nintendo has learned from that, and hopefully, you know, they give you a little bit of time to actually enjoy what's in the game itself, and then start revealing that there will be a paid season pass, unlike free played season passes like most of those sports Mario games received. Now, transitioning over to new trailers and new things that I expect them to talk about. First and foremost, what the heck is going on with everybody wanting to Switch? I mean, this game hasn't officially received its official first trailer. So at the very least, in this Direct, we should be able to finally see what the hell does that actually look like. Now, would it actually be any all that different from the first game? Probably not. But it would finally be one of those things where, like, for all those people who are complaining about 1-2 Switch, or even the fact that everybody 1-2 Switch is going to be a failure or whatever it is, no one's actually seen what the game is like. So, you know, maybe they actually did something right for once, and, you know, that game could finally end up redeeming itself in some weird shape or form, but I highly doubt it. Transitioning over to Pikmin 4. Of course they're going to talk about Pikmin 4. It is their next major release, and I do expect them to have an official trailer showcasing and at the very least talking lengthy about the night mode. This is something that they have already teased in several different formats already. I believe in the original trailer they teased it, but there was also a developer interview probably about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, that discussed the night mode. This is just something that, essentially there are new ways to play, a new format, and instead of just having a limited time, you do go collecting things in a little bit different format at night because it's dangerous, of course. So there is a little bit of a risk reward there. I do also expect to see something, or at the very least another trailer for Dragon Quest Infinity Strash. This is essentially the adventure of Dai. This is the new game that I believe Square Enix went ahead and revealed probably about 2 years ago at some point. They recently confirmed back in May, I want to say, late May. Pretty much around the time that all those presentations were taking place, they confirmed that it was coming to the Nintendo Switch finally. They had just been talking about PlayStation and PC at that point, so they finally confirmed that it is coming to Switch, and I would expect them to showcase just a specifically, Nintendo Switch focused gameplay trailer. This is something that we haven't probably seen. We've seen a lot of PlayStation capture, but no Switch, and Square Enix has been a pretty big supporter of the Switch, so we expect them to follow that up with that. And I wouldn't expect that to be the last thing Square Enix shows. Star Ocean, the second story, or essentially Star Ocean 2, is something that has been rumored to get a full-on remaster for probably about 2 years or so. And recently, I believe, Destructoid, Gamatsu, Famitsu, a bunch of places decided to basically put out the information that yes, indeed, even RPG site put up that the logo had originally leaked and stuff. So this is something that we fully expect to be able to run on the Nintendo Switch. The first game was is already on the Switch, already as is, and this is something that we probably should be able to expect. This is something that they didn't choose to showcase in any of the previous presentations, so it's something that they've probably been holding for the Nintendo crowd. Of course, that's not the only thing when it comes to Nintendo first party stuff. There is one thing that I do expect them to showcase, and that would be Metroid Prime 2 Remaster. Now, the first remaster did exceptionally well, but it's been a year now? I believe that came out late last year. I would expect them to go ahead and drop that pretty much heading into the holidays, or at the very least Halloween time this year. This has been pretty much one of those things where they're gonna just nickel and dime everyone, and you're gonna buy the game sold separately. They're not gonna get the whole trilogy as everyone expected there to be. But of course, if they keep it up with the first game and all the amazing things that they did with that remaster, probably not a lot of people are going to complain. So Metroid Prime 2 Remastered is something that we should probably be expecting for Nintendo to go ahead and showcase, and probably their first and only official new quote-unquote game reveal for this Nintendo Direct. I do also expect Vampire Survivors getting shadow dropped on the Nintendo Switch. There has been plenty of rumors. Now, I know this is an indie game, but it is a relatively popular indie game, so it's one of those that I do expect them to very quickly, at the very least, go ahead and show a very quick trailer and try to impress people that yes, indeed, this game can run on the Nintendo Switch. This game has chugged famously even on a Series X and PlayStation 5, so just the fact that they're able to probably get it to run at 30 FPS, even though it's pixel art, and yes, indeed, it's an indie game, the fact that they're probably able to get this to run, efficiently enough, should be something worth praising over. Now, of course, there's been plenty of Persona reveals as of late, and of course, Persona 5 Tactica should probably get an official Nintendo Switch trailer. Now, the trailer that we have seen originally leaked, the same thing with Persona 3 Reload, which we'll be talking about in a second, but of course, that was all PlayStation gameplay, and it's also in Spanish, so we expect at the very least, Xbox gameplay. It was originally, then there was a PlayStation version of that same trailer. I would dare expect to be a Nintendo Switch version of Persona 5 Tactica, so a new trailer should be showcased here. And of course, Persona 3 Reload has been pretty much listed in store listings all around the world as of now on the Nintendo Switch. Now, officially, as of right now, Atlus has only said that the game is coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, and they have not mentioned the Nintendo Switch, unlike Persona 5 Tactica. But of course, we do expect Persona 3 Reload to drop on the Nintendo Switch, just like they did with Persona 4 and I believe it was Persona 5 last year. where of course, you know, it was revealed in the Xbox presentation, then a few days later PlayStation confirmed that it's coming to them, and Steam confirmed it after that, and then eventually the Nintendo Switch Direct took place, and we got the confirmation that Persona 4, Persona 5 were coming to Switch. So no different this time around. Persona 3 Reload will be a Nintendo Switch game. The last, and probably the thing that will close out this Nintendo Direct presentation for me personally, and something that I would probably expect them to talk about, because we've heard about this game for probably 3 years or so, and most recently in the Pokemon Direct that they had, I don't know, like 6 months ago at this point, it was Detective Pikachu, the first official revealed trailer. Again, there is no Pokemon presentation happening. They haven't necessarily confirmed one anytime soon. We don't expect it. Would have happened by now. They usually happen in May. It hasn't happened. Therefore, we expect them to roll over any reveals onto Nintendo itself, and this Direct will most likely close out with Detective Pikachu. So something that we have been expecting plenty of details off for now, but it hasn't necessarily happened. The first game, of course, as you're seeing on the trailer, it was a 3DS game, and we have confirmation that it will be a Nintendo Switch exclusive game, but of course we haven't seen it so far. So those are pretty much my predictions for the Nintendo Direct. If you're complaining about the fact that they're relatively tame, well, this Nintendo Direct will probably be a relatively tame one. A lot of people are going to be complaining about the fact that there are most likely not any major upcoming releases for the Switch until the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or the Switch XL or whatever the hell people want to call it. But at the end of the day, of course, Nintendo will do things in their own time, and whatever major reveals they're going to have, they're probably going to be cross-generational games. There's been a lot of rumors for like a Donkey Kong, for example, a brand new Mario game. What are the chances Nintendo's actually going to drop those games on this Switch when they could save them as launch games for the new Switch? Think about that. So of course, if there's any actual new system, which we expect there to be sometime next year, and I feel like I've been saying that for the past 3 years, most likely it will be held up for that new system. But if you're brand new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.